Welcome to Chamber Champions. I'm Derek Miller with the Salt Lake Chamber, Utah's voice for business. Each week, we take the opportunity to speak with leaders from business, government, education, and community service organizations who are making a difference in Utah. As a Chamber Champion, these individuals are recognized for their contributions and provided a forum to empower their vision and objectives. We're joined today with Taylor Randall, Dean of the David Eccles School of Business at the University of Utah. We're grateful that you'd take time with us.
Thanks for having me today, Derek.
And especially to talk about such a cool topic as the Hope Corps.
It has been a lot of fun to get going.
So a lot of people are going to be hearing this and hearing about Hope Corps for the first time. The only thing I want to say, and then I want to hear from you because you're the expert, and that is I love the fact that the Hope Corps is sort of a play on words or based on the Peace Corps that we're all familiar with. So many students who, like a lot of other people, had their lives disrupted, their summer plans disrupted. And so you and your team jumped into action and formed the Hope Corps. You take it away and tell us what it is.
Well, Derek, we saw about 70% of our students have their summer plans disrupted. Now, these are both graduating students and rising seniors, rising juniors. It was probably internships that were disrupted and went away. And so at the same time, as we were talking to you down here at the Chamber, we saw intense need in especially small businesses, nonprofits, and some of the businesses that are being left behind with all the federal aid. And so as you marry those two needs, you come up with an economic peace corps that we call the Hope Corps, and you put students in to fill the gap with appropriate supervision from faculty and experts in their field, and we're seeing some great projects come out of this.
Before we get to the projects, which I want to talk about, how many students are participating? How much capacity is there?
So currently we have 150 students that have been hired into this program. We have another 150 waiting, and we believe we'll have capacity for between 300 and 400 students when all is said and done.
And the thing that I love about this is that although you're obviously the Dean of the Business School at the University of Utah, this is not just a U of U project.
No, in fact, it's a statewide project. Every business school in the state has jumped on board. The basic idea is that you try to take care of needs in your own community. So from Utah State down to Dixie State University, you see deans and business school students jumping into their community to try to find ways to help.
So let's talk about some of those community projects. Give us a sample of some of the neat things that these students are doing.
You know, these projects are all over the map. We've got a lot of marketing projects. As you might imagine, businesses are trying to pivot. How do I take my small business or my small restaurant online? I need a web presence. I need an app. So we see a lot of marketing oriented projects. We see a lot of small businesses that are struggling with loan compliance, the PPP loan compliance. So we've got a team led by some of our banking faculty that are looking at those types of projects. One of the largest projects is actually we staff the random testing program called the HERO testing program that's run out of the University of Utah with about 80 of our students. They go door to door randomly selecting people to get tested, the serology test to detect how much immunity is actually in our community.
For people who don't understand what that is, I just want to pause on that for a second because I think we all understand intuitively, people who don't feel well, they go get tested, they find out if they have the virus or not. That's important, not just for them, but it's important for our community to monitor the spread. It's one of the ways that we slow the spread of the virus to keep that transmission rate down. But this project that you're talking about, this randomized testing is so important as well because we need to learn more about the virus, who may have had it that didn't even know they have it, what do those antibodies look like, and it's awesome to hear that these students are participating in that.
Yeah, I think there are two big reasons you want to do random testing. The first is, as you mentioned, there's a whole set of people that may not even have symptoms and it would have had the virus. So this helps us establish a baseline in the population in terms of who's had it or not. And then the second reason is there are a lot of members of our community that can't get to testing. It's becoming better, and kudos to you and your team for promoting that. But we're able to reach out to populations that may not have been looked at, and that gives us a really nice insight into some very vulnerable populations.
So I heard just yesterday about another really great project that one of the Hope Corps students is involved in. I actually sat down with James Jackson, who's my colleague, the president and CEO of the Utah Black Chamber.
Yeah.
And James and I sat down yesterday to talk about the role and responsibility of the business community in helping to promote racial equality and justice, and what we could do to promote equality of opportunity. And James mentioned to me that one of the Hope Corps students is one of his interns over the summer.
They are. We've assigned interns to the Black Chamber and also the Pete Suazo Business Center. And there are a number of those interns out basically doing business development for them right now, trying to understand the needs of their communities.
Obviously, this program was formed with necessity being the mother of invention. And as you mentioned, Taylor, the students that didn't have opportunity or their opportunities were canceled over the summer. What do you see beyond the summer? What's the future of the Hope Corps?
You know, the Hope Corps was initially conceived to get us through the COVID-19 crisis. And so I think in some way, shape, or form, you'll see us extend it into the school year. It probably won't be paid internships, but it'll be more student-run projects with faculty supervision across the state. But really, it was supposed to serve this specific need, and it's doing so, and I think in remarkable ways.
I think so, too. Let's get you out of here on this last question. How do people get involved?
Well, it's pretty easy. Whether you're a company or a student or just somebody who wants to get involved, if you go to eccles.utah.edu/Hope Corps.
Okay. I'm sure they can go directly to the URL, or they can probably look you up on the search engine at Hope Corps, at David Eccles School of Business, or the University of Utah, and they'll find you pretty easily.
That'll get you there.
Dean Taylor Randall, who's the Dean of the Business School at the University of Utah, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks, Derek.
Thank you for joining us on Chamber Champions, where we recognize and provide a platform to those who are contributing to Utah and our unrivaled quality of life. Chamber Champions is a production of the Salt Lake Chamber, Utah's voice for business.